insurance through AAA. Our competitive rates could save you hundreds of dollars a year.
Here's
Switch
what
your home insurance to and
I
have
went
it
to
saved even more.
Belleville for today.
AAA insurance.
Let me turn it down a little bit.
So
Yep, this is the National NC 183 my dad had in his ham station in Whittier. What, the air conditioner bugging you? Okay, let's turn that down a little bit. Yeah, it's bugging me too. Okay. Anyway, back to the story. This is the NC 183 national receiver that my dad had in his ham shack, in which I went to sleep by for many years. I used to sleep in my mom and dad's bedroom until they went to bed, and then I went out on the couch because we only had a 2-bedroom house. Grandma had 1 bedroom. My mom and dad and my baby sister had the other, and I got the couch. Of course, you don't go to the couch until after mom and dad go to bed, so I would go sleep in mom and dad's bed. And this is the radio that I would hear playing with my dad talking on the radio all night long. Well, it seemed like all night long. Of course, he had headphones on, so I didn't hear who he was talking to, but I remember him using his call sign, W6ZPC, while I was drifting off to sleep. And I remember seeing these dial lights right there. The S meter in the middle, and this is the main tuning, and this is the band spread. And as you can see, when I got this from my dad, I decided to mark it with my name, of course, and just because, you know, when you're 13 years old, you do dumb things, and that was the dumb thing I did. Anyway. So there you have it. That's what I went to Belleville today to pick up. My friend Gary up in St. Louis, actually Belleville, replaced a bunch of capacitors in this sucker. I hadn't had it turned on in maybe 15 years, and so all the capacitors are shot. Of course, this was first built, I think, in 1947, 48, something like that, which makes it around 70 years old, ironically the same age as KSGM radio. It's interesting. At any rate, that's the radio that I went to Belleville to pick up today. Finally had it, not finally, he had it finished. Gary did a real nice job on it. I did not want any cosmetic changes. I didn't want him to dress it up. Of course, you know, it's got, like I said, 13-year-old kid stuff on it, you know, like keep out. and so that certainly marks the passage of time. Anyway, it's a radio that I've loved, and matter of fact, when I was in high school, I would try to tune the world on this sucker, and it did a good job with it. Matter of fact, I logged an AM broadcast station for every frequency on the dial, every 10 KCs. You notice, I don't know if I can read that on the dial or not, but everything's in KCs. As they say. Well, actually, it doesn't say that there. Okay, never mind. But somewhere of these when these were made, it was called kilocycles, and of course the band spread is for the ham bands, but it also has the broadcast band, and that's of course KSGM that I'm listening to. The ball game was on, so there you go. I picked it up in Belleville today, brought it home in the trunk of the car. The thing weighs about 100 pounds. Actually, a little less than 100 pounds. Let's take this speaker off the top of it. Just an old computer speaker I had laying around. Hopefully I've got enough room to, yeah, I can set it aside and open the sucker up. I'm going to turn on a light because there is some need for light to see this. But this is the guts of the thing. Now you can see at the top you've got the rectifier tube on the left. You've got well, that big power transformer. That's the big transformer. Thing runs about 250 watts in power consumption. There's the voltage regulator tube. There's a bunch of metal tubes in here of different kinds and varieties. Those little short stubby ones are 686s. And the output tubes here are the 6V6 output tubes, giving about 8 watts RMS output. And you can see it's got rust on it because I told him, I said, no cosmetic improvement, just get it running again. And he did. And that's what I wanted Gary to do, and that's what he did. Did a nice job of it, as you can tell. I'm getting KSGM now at a pretty decent power level. 15 dB over 9 here in St. Genevieve. It'll be interesting to see what it does when the power change happens at sunset. And the audio is quite good.
We'll be back with the Marriott Grand Play of the game after this.
For radio this
K&K
old.
guttering and exteriors, we still believe
That's
Native
it. That's
America
the
is
National
important.
NC
That's why we are proud
183
to offer Vinyl Max with
that I now have back in my possession in running order. It's been about 15 years in the garage just sitting there because I do not have maybe the patience, maybe the technical expertise to rebuild it. At least to replace all the capacitors. I think I could do that, but you know, he aligned it, and so now it's working as well as it can be for the age. Again, 70 years old, not bad for a National, and it's only a few years older than I am. So, well, my dad bought it in the late 40s, and I forget what it cost, but you can look it up. In today's dollars, I don't know, but it's got 16 tubes in the sucker, and as I said, draws 250 watts in the outlet, so it's a pretty power hog. I've got my ICOM over there, and my ICOM transceiver draws a lot less than that, even when it's running 100 watts out. And there's my little 2-meter rig there, sitting there. But today I've got the National fired up for the first time in a long time. And we're gonna have to crank the air conditioning because the thing does get pretty warm. In fact, in my bedroom in California, this was actually the only heater I had in my bedroom, and it did a good job of that. This is W6ZPC signing off.